Greetings everyone. Today we're going to explore writing a linear equation from a graph in slope-intercept form. All right, first let's lay down sort of some ground rules or some steps in case you need to look back at them. To write in slope-intercept form from a graph, the first thing you want to do is to identify the slope from the graph. That means we're going to be counting the rise and the run. And also remember that the letter that represents slope is M. Next, we're going to identify what's the second piece here, the y-intercept. Now remember, the y-intercept is where it crosses the y-axis, and it's also referred to as the b in our equation. Once you have counted your slope and you see where it crosses the y-axis, then we want to substitute the slope and the y-intercept into the slope-intercept formula. So remember again, let's refer to that. The slope-intercept formula is always y equals mx plus b. Now I have 4 examples for you. If this is a time where you have a foldable, then you'll want that out. If you don't have a foldable or notes, just draw some quick little sketches in your notebook. You could also probably print off these slides, whatever's easiest for you. So let's take a look at this example here. The first thing I need to do, step 1, is to identify the M. And I need to do that by counting my rise and my run. So I'm going to start at this furthest left dot, and my rise is going down to get to the next dot. So I'm rising -4, and I'm running 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it's positive because it's to the right. Now that fraction does not simplify, so I'm going to leave it as -4/5. Step 2, I want to identify my b value, which is my beginning, which is my y-intercept. So if I take a look, I cross the y-axis at +4. Step 3, I want to write my equation. So, thinking of the equation y equals mx plus b, I need to replace the m and the b. So my final equation is going to be -4/5 instead of m. I'm replacing it. Bring down the x, and my b value is +4. Let's take a look at this unique example. In this case, let's go through the steps similar. I'm going to start with my slope. My m is my rise over my run. Well, if I take a look at this one, let's say I pick this dot here and the green dot. I'm not rising at all, but I'm running too. Remember, this is my little shortcut of OK. That means my m is 0. Step 2, identify your y-intercept. So if I look at where I cross the y-axis, I cross at not positive, at -2. So watch out for that sign, okay? Step 3, I can substitute those into the equation, y equals mx plus b. My b value is -2. My m value is 0. Now that looks kind of weird having that 0 in, because 0 times anything is 0. So look at how I can write this equation. Y equals -2. This is the equation of every type of horizontal line. Remember, if it's horizontal, it cuts through the y at -2. Through y at -2. Let's take a look at this unique example. And let's actually take a shortcut here. This is a vertical line. This vertical line is going to cut through which axis? The x-axis. And where is it going to cross through? At +5. So if you were to kind of go through the steps, this one's unique because the slope is undefined. right? It would have been maybe rise 2 over 0, and that's a no, that's not okay. So it's undefined. I can't write an equation that says undefined. That would look weird. So this is unique. So we have the shortened equation. If it's horizontal or vertical, which axis does it cross through, and at what number? All right, our last example here. If you need to pause and draw a sketch, please do so. But we have 2 lines. So I'm not going to write out all the steps this time. I'm going to write my fill in the blanks. I need to fill in my M and I need to fill in my B for the blue line, and same thing for the purple line. Let's talk about the slope on the blue line. I see a dot here and I see a dot here. I'm rising 1, 2, and I'm running 1, 2, 3. So my slope is 2/3. B is the beginning. It begins on the y-axis at 0. Here you can put a plus or minus, or if you just want to leave it off, because adding a 0 doesn't change anything. It's up to you. Let's look at the purple line. I see an intersection here and here and here. So my rise is 1, 2. My run is 1. Well, let's talk about that. 2 over 1 is just 2. So let's simplify that fraction and just say 2 instead of 2 over 1, okay? My beginning, my B, where do I begin on the y-axis? At -4. Watch out for that negative, that's very important. So again, in this lesson, the key points: count the rise over run, and where do I begin on the y-axis? And watch out for those unique horizontal and vertical lines. Those are special, so they have unique equations. Make sure that you're always checking Google Classroom. What are the expectations? And as always, check PowerSchool. Do you have anything missing that you need to catch up on? And if you need anything, just make sure to let me know. And until next time, have a good one.